There we go. Hello. Um, so this is sort of a open sort of format. I have no plans per se for this live stream. So in terms of what I'll be doing, it'll be pretty much if you have any questions, I'll answer those or sort of show you my ideas on how to make those. Otherwise, I'll just be testing my submission for PFC 12. So that's about that. I did get a new mic since we last spoke, so that would make sense as to how I sound different. Um, I guess I'll just start by showing off my plane. You can probably tell what it's based on. This is my so far gonna be my PFC 12 submission. Um, it's using the Vulcan turrets, locked of course, and I'm using 4 AIM 120s, I'll explain that in a minute, and 2 AIM 9s. Oh, okay. So the reason I'm yeah, I just read your message. So that's why I was like, huh. The reason I went with 4 AIM 120s instead of 4 AIM 9s, which I think a lot of people are going to use 4 AIM 9s, because that used to be better, is these EC0 cruise engines have a very, very, very low heat output, and as such, the AIM 9s struggle to get a lock on them. Hello, Didas. Uh, so, yeah, that's why I went with only 2 of these, because they'll only be effective against planes using the EC2 or EC3 engines. EC3 engines are pretty terrible, so I wouldn't recommend using them unless you have a very, very, very speed-oriented design. The EC2s can work as a middle sort of range engine, but the EC0 does produce more thrust than the EC2 up until about 200 meters per second. So EC0 is good for turning planes because it provides a lot of low speed thrust compared to the other options. And those are the only 4 engines were allowed. The EC1 is exactly the same as the EC0. It's just you require 6 of them, something. No, yeah, 3 of them equals 1 EC0. But there you have the exact same thrust curve and everything. Um, so the EC1s work if you're running a the 0.5 meter fuselage, whatever that thing is, fuel tanks. These things, if you have your fuselage built out of these because you're building a small little plane, these can work. But other than that, just because basically if you wanted to use these, like I'll load up the Phantom here. There it is, Phantom. So the Phantom uses 12 because they're front mounted as well. By the way, the EC1s and the EC0s, you can hit toggle mode and it switches it from normal to reverse. So you can front mount them and they will work with reverse. I think Jolly mentioned that in his video though. Let's see. Okay, yeah, the Panther is Panther's much better than the Weasley, um, but the EC2 is not much better than the EC0. In fact, it's worse in most situations. Um, the EC3, it doesn't necessarily suck, but you need to build your plane around it. You need to have a very, very fast plane, like something with almost no drag. AI set up for like straight line speed. Um, I wasn't able to find a use for the EC3 with my style of building of planes, which is turn fighters. But I can see a use case for it. I was going with the EC2 originally on the back of my plane. If we switch back to that, I also need to name my plane still. So as it's testing me, the I had an EC2 on the back here, and I looked at the thrust between the EC0 and the EC2, and like even in afterburning mode for the EC2, um, it was producing less thrust up until 200 meters per second than the EC0. So I switched over to the EC0 because almost all my fighting is under 200 meters per second. I could try that. I can't swap the front one because the EC2 doesn't have a reverse thrust option, but I could try swapping the EC0 out on the back and give them a fight. The numbers don't lie. This is slightly heavier. I guess that could make a difference. So I need to check my center of lift, center of mass. That's still fine. Yeah, the two engines side by side thing. Um, it is draggy. That is very, very true. AI pilot settings. I went with a pretty standard, pretty standard for my planes. AI seemed to work. There it is. If you want to see that. I kept the max AOA lower, um, because if we open up this, set speed to 110, which is common turning speed for my plane. As we can see here, if we set the AOA marks, the AOA to 5 increments. As you can see, like it only really produces efficient lift at like 5 to 10 degrees of AOA. Uh, the I'm assuming you're talking about the double engine design for your lot of wing surface without much profile increase. Um, yeah, that's true. I don't think the drag is worth it. I did some testing. It was a plane I made that was designed to go pretty fast. But with having the three front sections like this, producing drag, it was really kind of slow. And it didn't turn that well. This plane kind of sucked, but uh, it, it kind of worked, I guess. But yeah, you do have a point about the extra wing surface. without any profile increase. I don't know. I think it's not worth it on Eve. Kerbin, yeah, the strategy would work fine because Kerbin has much thinner atmosphere. Um, so having 3 fuselages like this doesn't hurt as much. But on Eve, it's not really effective. You have a lot of drag. Uh, I didn't go through many iterations for this PFC. I kind of just built something and it worked. I don't know. I'm sure you put thought into your planes. They they've been pretty good recently. Um, Came in like second place, was it, for PFC 11? Like that's pretty good. Second place is like pretty top tier. Uh, Here are my missile settings. I have them removed from symmetry, so I can have different max ranges on each of them. So I have them staggered. This one will fire as soon as it gets locked. This one will fire if it gets locked when it's less than 7,300 meters. This one will fire below 5,000, and this one will fire below 3,500. Yeah, I like helping. It makes things more interesting. Like I can build this type of plane all day and do well. It's I don't know. With these missiles, because I have them firing left, right, it or left, right, left, it flies fine. Uh, no, because they fire outside in. Yeah. Um, uh, Went with lots of vertical stabilizers as always. Yeah, I really hate side slip. It freaks out when it gets too much, so gotta keep that down. The missile thing, um, it keeps the basically with this, it means that it'll hold on to a missile till closer range, which usually leads to a kill, um, which is good. The AIM-120s at less than 4 kilometers are quite deadly because the AI doesn't have time to fire enough chaff. The way chaff works is it basically, for each chaff, it moves your plane's target, like, signature a little bit away from it. Um, so basically, if they don't have time to fire much chaff, their target signature will still be close to where their plane is, and the missile will do damage. So, close range AIM-120s, good. Um, well, I have them set up individually. Um, well, if I'd set two to be short range, it's possible there'd be a time where, yeah, no air intakes, very much useless. Um, the If I'd set two to be long range, two to be short range, is what you mean, or set all of them to be uh short range? Yeah, I use liquid fuel oxidizer equal quantities for fueling the generators. Um, you also have to turn them on. I have that in my stage action group, along with my landing gear, because Because as you may know, it's landing gear retracted. That's because BDA calculates its thing in SPH, not in real time. So as you can see, I had an 18-kilometer lock range. Now it's only 17. I'm sure it's helping. I don't really care about my lock on range. This thing turns on a dime. No, not normal LFO. It's 1-to-1. Don't ask me why, it just is. You take out some oxidizer and it's a bit lighter. Yeah, I'm using these spherical tanks. They're skinny, they're light. There's what I've done. I've actually gone and screwed this up. Oh, right, no, because I wanted to have more oxidizer. Never mind, I haven't screwed it up. This one's color. The little things, you know? Why put the, why you'd put them to fire power, but why is different things on each missile? Why not do two? Because if these two were long range, then there'd be, and I wanted these two at 3,500, then yeah, they do consume LF and O equally. That's what I was trying to say. Then if I'd had these, at 3,500, these missiles probably get to their target, when I'm about 5 kilometers out, because fire one at 12. Okay, this is the worst case. Like the enemy plane has a 12-kilometer lock-on range. Fires one at 12. Fires the second one at 8 or 9, and then these two, that missile will get there when I'm about 6 kilometers out, and then I'll be missileless for 3 kilometers. By doing it this way, it means that I always have one missile in target range, assuming I start at 12 kilometers, and I work my way in. If the target plane has a lock-on range which is less than 12 kilometers, which I think might be quite common, this doesn't really hurt it. It'll just use up the missiles as if they were all long range. Like, it's fine. Aerodynamically, the missiles are pretty insignificant on this plane, so having slightly off-center missiles doesn't hurt. Yeah, that's why. Small thing, doesn't really make a difference. These limited their range very short, so that they actually hit their target. Might actually increase that a little bit, that's a little bit too short, like 2.5. Those two are set up the same, because they're aim 9s, so it really fires fine. You're putting them in fire 2 at a time. I tried that. I found it didn't really help my case. Anything fired beyond like 5 kilometers was just a distraction anyways. No point firing 2 distractions at the same time. You kind of want to spread them out. Maybe if you're running 6 AIM-120s, you could fire 2 at a time, and that would work. I did want to keep some AIM-9s though for the faster planes that are going to be running EC3s and EC2s. Because they're going to be hard to shoot with guns. Yeah. You're probably wondering why I used a fairing for the fuselage. Drag. It's just to make it nice and streamlined. It's the entire fuselage is wrapped in a fairing. Guns are clipped into it as well, so they're drag free. That's why I can get away with using the turrets. Turrets are slightly lighter. That's why I use them. Also, I could center mount them. Yeah, I don't know. I don't usually use fairings on my design, so. Is that a question you want me to, or do you want me to test that? DS. My opinion is, unless you're running 6 AIM-120s, probably just one missile per target versus two. You'll kind of run out too early if you're only running 4. But I could test it if you want. I'm trying to improve this plane. Last time I tested it, though, one worked better. Oh, well, if you run 4 of each type, then yeah, stick with 1 per target. That's the key, getting the numbers just right. It's not something I've really been doing this competition. This isn't PFC 9, where I spent 50 hours designing a plane. This is a 3-hour design. It's not exactly perfect. Yeah, no, you could make it work. I'm sure these numbers are close enough, it would work fine. I just don't see any real advantage to sending out 2 distraction missiles at a time instead of 1, which is all the AIM-120s at long range really are, is distraction missiles. Um, don't get me wrong, distraction missiles are incredibly useful. Like, they're necessary. You need to have distraction missiles, or else they will fly in a straight line and hit you with all their missiles. Um, so missiles are almost more important to distract the target than to kill the target. Anyways, I'll show you the plane in action, I guess. A bit of an idea what you're working against. I'm having to launch off of the island because my platform exploded. Um, so yeah. You should throw something together. Uh, just make a meme plane. I don't know. Make a mini. Oh, my platform just exploded on its own. Like, disintegrated. Anyways. Oh, why are my engines on? Yeah. Oh, you can just make a Charmander as usual. Like, it seemed to work. I'm testing on my other plane that I was messing around with. Yeah, I beat the Phantom with both, quite resoundingly. That's why I'm not testing against it. These two are actually somewhat close. As you can see, distraction missiles are in full effect. So as you can see here, it's not firing any missile with that shit. That's surprising. The other one I'll deal with them though. We'll switch to gunfighting mode. That didn't look good. Okay, well, this one's out of competition. I don't have to self-destruct thing. I have faith in the silence to win though. Now it's in a one. Well, yeah. Oh, only took out one wing there. See if I actually get a missile lock on the other one here. Nope. I don't know, missile locks seem weird on Eve. Like the AIM-9s. They don't seem to work very well. So, but sometimes they work. I'm gonna leave them on. Wait, is this thing still fighting? No. Let's see, pirate same knights at some point. Interesting. I mean, as you can see, this plane is far from perfect. It's not good, but it is fighting in a less than ideal 1 versus 2 situation. It's also flying in a lot of straight lines, which might just be because I'm recording or something. I don't know. I went down. It's weird. Not behaving as usual. Maybe I should test what's recording on, so that it behaves more like on Jolly's computer. That was a nice shot. Here's a neat trick actually I'm gonna show you. Turning on debug lines and debug labels. Let's see what your AI is thinking. The other one's pretty damaged, I'm pretty sure. Yeah. I probably would have ruled this one out of the competition as well. It's providing a very good distraction though, I'll give it that. I've got no missiles. Do something. Show something. Curious something. Oh, red fuel. That's not good. This has been an underwhelming battle, which this plane will most simply due to not being out of fuel. I don't think that's actually ever happened before. Interesting. I think I need to tweak my missile ranges, because one of them getting hit by a missile literally was kind of its downfall. That's AI debug. Yeah, pink is where it's trying to go, white is where it's pointing. Yeah, the EC2s are good if you can maintain over 200 meters per second. Green is like lift vector or something. I'm not entirely sure. Blue is normal, I think. Maybe blue is lift vector. I'm not sure. They don't seem to mean anything important. Maybe roll. Flies well at low speed. Blue is target wing normal, or it seems. Yeah, interesting. That does make sense. White is the way it's pointing. Pink and red seem to be the desired. Or pink is desired and red is where it's tempting to go to. Or maybe red's desired and pink is where it's currently attempting to go to. I'm not sure. It's one of the two. Yeah, that was a good battle. Pink and red are not the same thing. I did some testing on this by using the fly to marker and putting it behind it. The red moves instantly and the pink very quickly follows. The pink seems to be where it's trying, or where it's like current input command is taking it, according to, you know, the limiters and stuff, the damping. Oh, black is missile tracking. I'm gonna turn that off until missiles are done, because it's really annoying. The debug useful down here is useful because it tells you what it's doing. Think it's guns? Okay, I'll believe you on that. My guns are locked though. So not entirely sure what that means. Why they wouldn't just be pointed straight forward. Okay. Sure. I guess that makes sense. I'm really tempted to just take the aim-9s off this thing. It spends so long trying to lock a target it can't lock, and not just switching to guns. Like, it messes it up far more than they're actually useful. It's really infuriating how many times this thing gets shot down when trying to lock a target with aim-9s. They're just switching to guns. One down. Wait, I thought this thing was dead. Apparently not. There's a mod that Jolly uses to remove dead planes. Attack self-destruct. What are you doing? Find a target. What target? Eyes are bad. And they collided. Nifty. But now has no right side. Just switch to guns. Come on. You're not gonna lock on it. Oh, this one is damaged. Okay. It's just somehow glitched together. So the engine stopped fighting thrust and it fell apart. Interesting. Sliced it in half. That's 2 mid-air collisions in one fight. Yeah, the platform is useless. There's one piece of it left and there's debris just everywhere. From planes I tried to spawn on it. It's... There we go. So as you can see, this plane is somewhat competent. I do think I did get rid of the aim-9s though. Or at least set their min-range higher. So it doesn't try and use them instead of guns. Maybe I'll do that. Set their mid-range to the gun's max range. That was indeed a missile kill without a missile launch. That's very accurate. I was wondering why everything exploded instead of just breaking. It's because they on the missile. uh, yeah. No, this plane will do a lot better without the AIM-9s. I'm gonna tweak that. Maybe I should put like explosive parts on the edge of my plane so that when they collide, she gets the kill. I'll send you a name. That's still a to do. Should fix the issue with them. 92, slightly increase this 1200, still decently accurate 1200. There we go. Um, does anyone have any questions? I'm I could go back through some of my old planes to show you how they worked. If you wanted to. Yeah, that didn't make sense. Uh, you want to see my first PFC plane? Okay, I can do that. I just think I have it. Um, PFC 4. Do I still have that saved? Not sure I do actually. I still have it in PFC 5. I do tend to copy planes over. Um, so the let's see, it was a Corsair. That was my first plane. Um, it was for PFC 4 propeller plane competition. It was bad. Got eliminated in the first round. Um, just add more wings. I don't know. is how you determine your max turn rate and minimum turn radius. Just wings, dead more. I also use this save for CFC development, which I was never particularly good at, it turned out. Yeah, my plane was really underpowered too. That was that was why it was bad. Turned fine, just couldn't sustain it with a single engine. What do you think? Remember this thing? Yes. I can show you my PFC 5 plane for you. I don't know what the Caesar Tabasco training manual is. I have. Oh, these are hilarious. This is me messing around with hexagon planes for PFC 9. Yeah, it was a weird time. They didn't work, in case you were wondering if you should try this. The answer is no, you definitely shouldn't. Um, T4 was, yeah, PFC 4 was First World War II. Um, yeah, VDA did actually use the hexagonal plane could work. Um, oh, oh, this thing. Do you want to see like the inverse of a good plane? This thing. This is the inverse of a good plane. It has all the wings front and back and nothing in the middle. I don't know what I was thinking with it. It was bad. Yeah, that's about that. Oh, PFC 6. I was bad at PFC 6. Yeah. Um, this thing wasn't good. It looks like it should be, but it really wasn't. It was underpowered, even though it was supposed to be a really fast plane, and it even had two secondary engines on the bottom. Um, so that was PFC 6. PFC 7. Could we see Dominic? Okay. Which PFC was that? And which one was the Dominic? I don't remember. It's a very old save. PFC XII. Oh, the big forward wing with this way far back tail. That was 7, I'm pretty sure, yeah. This is before I organized my planes by PFC. Uh, so. The long tail. I think this is probably what you were thinking of. I'm missing modules. Here it is. uh, thing. Okay, so the good time, I guess, to mention general plane design concepts and what not to do. You want a very balanced wing forward and aft. Like, you want your wings to be so. Okay, so if I bring up center of mass, most of the wing is located forward of center of mass. Then it has some tails located very far back. Uh, this means a high angle of attack, 'cause this area gets a lot of lift, but making it unstable. Meaning you get a curve that looks something like it's built for Kerbin. Increase the angle of attack because Kerbin. This. It means that it takes less turning power to increase your angle of attack as you go. That's not good. Also, field versus dry. That's not good either. But it looks good. I mean, I guess. Yeah, it overturns. That's the issue. That's why you don't put more wing in front of the center of mass than behind you. Even if it's aerodynamically stable at 0 angle of attack, 'cause you have all these back here. When you hit that angle of attack, these produce less lift, these produce more. It's unstable at high angle of attack. So that's why you keep your amount of wing centered front and back. Ideally, you want it to be as much of it on center of mass as possible. So I'm going to switch over to PFC 10, 11, 11. Oops, no, that's not how you switch saves. Because in PFC 11, I started actually putting a bit of physics knowledge into my planes instead of just putting things together. Everything before PFC 9 was kind of bad. I mean, I won PFC 5. That doesn't make it a great plane. It, compared to what I'm doing now, it's yeah. The Phantom not have generator set the stage on start. I don't know, but it works. So not gonna worry about that. Uh, okay. Is PFC 11 not where I built the? Oh wait, we're on PFC 11. 12. No, we're on 12. Where's my? Trying to find my planes from last plane fight club. That one. So Roman numerals to match Dolly's naming scheme. Oh, it probably is. I have a lot of other people's planes in this save. Is it worth to add batteries? No, the engines hold 2,000 charge each, or something, or 7,000. They hold a lot. I'll quickly check. Batteries are not worth it. These things come with batteries. 2,000 each. So, no, you don't need batteries. Generators, I think, also have batteries built in. 300 each, so not nearly as good as the engines. Actually not sure about these. Do these have? These ones have 4,000 built in, so they're even better. Yeah. Fluid. Let's see. This is the Buccaneers were my work with Infinite Taquito. The ones without the tail were our joint effort. The ones with the tail were his. Um, came up with this this thing. This thing was good. This thing was very good. Never saw the light of day. Fortunately, never had a chance to use it anywhere because we developed it after the competition. Um, so here was my attempt to make something that had 4 engines, and I probably should have stuck with this concept. 4 engines is better than 2 engines, but it flew okay. It ended up getting beat by the British Navy, which we all know and love. There it is. This thing. My first microplane. It's small. It's cute. Why did I build a microplane in a competition without missiles? We may never know. Um, excuse me. British Navy's a good plane. Not that good, uh, compared to other things. It's short on engines. That's its main issue. It's got a bad power to weight ratio, but it's got a lot of wings to make up for it. So it turns on a dime. But this is what I wanted to show. So if we bring up center of mass here, wings pretty much on it. Slightly in front, but I've got wings back here to help counter that. So we've got most of our lift, like 90% of our lift, right on the center of mass. It does honestly suck. I'm right about that. But yeah. So it sucks not because of its wing design though. Wing design is genius. Also known as clipping like as many wings as I possibly could into the same space. Um, it's genius, not cheating. Um, also, look inside the fuselage equals more wings on angles for roll stability, flat. some more here as well. Got a lot of it's the part count is in wings. Um, it also has some SAS wheels clipped into it to make it disobey physics. This plane was cheating. Um, but it wasn't against the rules, so it wasn't really cheating. Uh, what was this for? Oh right, this was for PFC XII, I think. Never ended up arming it. Looks cool though. There's the vault. I can give a quick review of the evolution of the Bach, I guess. Uh, here's the EX8. So, um, first change I made was I swapped to using bumblebees, or maybe you did that on the EX8, I'm not sure. But originally this thing was not using bumblebees, but now it's using bumblebees. I added 2 angled wings here, which allow for more lift at the expense of a lot of drag. Yes, the British Navy was cheating. It was all part clipping. That's why I don't feel good about it. It feels wrong. This plane, it was good. This why it came in second or third. Not quite sure, but this plane was good. Like without using any part clipping, it almost beat the British Navy. Um, yeah, second. Yeah, I don't know about auto flaps. I just do fixed angled wings when a plane doesn't want to turn. Um, yeah, this plane, if flipping wasn't allowed, like the way I had it, like this plane is better. The wings are like pretty nicely centered, a little bit too much forward, probably. But honestly, that's fine. It's a very skinny wing. It doesn't produce much lift. And these are nice big fixed wings back here, so that's probably fine. But yeah, this thing actually did oversteer a bit, so maybe I'd get rid of those and move those forward a bit or something. Move those back. Check the center of lift here. It's really well balanced. I'd probably throw some moving front surfaces on it, but it'd ruin the aesthetic. Um, that was stage 1. Here's stage 2, which I think is the same plane. Wings might have moved a bit, but with a different AI tune on it. Um, how about detachable on stage 0 so that it could take off? Wait, that could that oh that could take idea. Does the AI stage? Are we even allowed detachable stages? Yeah. You should admire 37 parts of running away. Uh, pancake with someone else's plane. I'll work on the siren. I guess I could explain why the siren was so good. That's a modified one, I think. Yeah, that was I want siren mark 4. Here we go. So, siren. Let's quick analysis. wings, slightly, fixed wings are slightly in front of center of mass, meaning it turns hard. But only slightly, so it doesn't overdo it. Thrust, that's a lot of thrust. Gear is a good one for after it takes off. You'll always toggle gear. I remember we used that for some of the CFC planes that had detachable landing gear. Yeah, I'm not sure why staging is so discouraged. Real thing that made the siren so good is like 20 reaction wheels I rammed into the fuselage. Allows me to have this slightly forward wing set up and it still be stable. These help too, but yeah, that would not work without 30 reaction wheels. Rigid attachment. I've heard it causes lag. I actually don't rigid attach my wings. It's honestly I forget to. I don't generally have a problem with it. You play frame rates higher? I don't know. Yeah, this thing was ridiculous. Um, this is the final product of my collaboration with Infinite Taquito. This thing was strong. Just gonna do a quick demo battle. Pushing high G turn. Maybe if you have more than one wing segment attached to your fuselage. My wings are generally directly attached to the fuselage, and if I'm making a multiple wing segment craft, this one might benefit from it, but I haven't noticed any wing flex issues. Yeah, fore and aft control surfaces are very important for stability on these like really high G turn planes. This is this plane's first appearance on YouTube. It was supposed to be a exhibition round plane, but it never ended up happening. So get to see it finally. I think we all just want to see it go up against the British Navy. Potentially. I name planes a lot of weird things. I honestly don't remember if that's true or not. If I just saw it, then yep. I do a lot of my plane development at like 1 in the morning, okay? Give me a break. One of my best ideas come to me. never worked. No. It's a play on the Ascender. Uh, 2 a.m. is the best time to develop planes. The names. It has to do with wing building. That's what that extension is. If it ends in E, it's experimental. If it's F, it means it's final. Ready to go to Jolly. I don't know, sleep deprivation is good for design. Kinda weird. Still wins. Yeah, this plane is good. I had fun working on this with Infinite. What PC specs? Ryzen 7 1700, GTX 1060, 32 gigabytes of RAM. It's an older PC, but it's still good. I'm only running at 1080p, which helps as well. I've overclocked my Ryzen to 3.7 gigahertz. I also have my RAM running at 3000 megahertz. So that's interesting that a Ryzen 5 2600 struggles. I would think it would do better than mine, because the IPC is better on the 2000 series Ryzens. And KSP doesn't multi-thread, so I'm not really getting much performance out of having 16 threads. Are you sure it's your CPU that's struggling? Might be you just need faster RAM, honestly. I noticed a pretty big performance. Okay, the RTX 2070 is definitely not the problem, that's for sure. Yeah. I'm waiting for the 3000, or yeah, the 3000 series to be slightly more available, and then I'm gonna get one of those, replace my N60. $2,600's not bad. I went from a 2600 to a 3000 kit, an upgrade from 16 to 32 gigabytes of RAM. And I noticed a decent performance jump. Honestly, KSP's just always run really smooth for me on this setup. Like, yeah, no, even on 16 gigs, my KSP ran really smooth. It's I'm running. So you're running the 2700. I'm running a Wraith Max cooler. I had way more success overclocking my CPU than my GPU. Overclocking my GPU was like kind of difficult. Overclocking my CPU though was really easy. Just like look up a chart for clock to voltage and go off of that. But I'm running a Wraith Max cooler from a Ryzen 2700. So I have a lot of cooling headroom, which means I was able to overclock a bit. If you were to run something like probably a 212 evo, honestly. I've never had a problem with stability on my overclock, but mine's a pretty small overclock. It's only 200 megahertz off the boost, like above the boost clock. I could go for more, but I don't need it. I'm heavily GPU bottlenecked at this point. On 2600. If you had something like a 212 Evo, I think you could probably hit 3.9 gigahertz pretty easily at about 1.3 volts. That should be good. We're probably running a Wraith. That's probably a normal Wraith cooler. I think that's what's stock with the 2600. I don't think it's the Wraith Stealth. That's Ryzen 3. Okay, might be a 212 Evo already then. They're pretty common. It's one of my favorite coolers. I just got this one for free off of a friend when I was building his PC with him. He didn't need it. He'd gone with a water cooling loop, so. And honestly, my computer isn't that strong. I only get, with 4 planes loaded, it's like 4 planes, 100 parts each, I only get about 35 FPS. I will look that up. Okay. Okay, it's a tower cooler. It's 120 mil. So it's RGB, nice. Uh, um, yeah, it's pretty similar to the 212 Evo. So I still think you could get 3.9 out of your CPU on it. Yeah. If it won't go over 65 degrees on Prime 95, it's what's the base? What's the multi base clock? 3.2 max turbo 4. Yeah, you can get the 3.9. You have the thermal headroom for it. I'll look up a voltage chart for you as well. Okay. So I'll throw it in chat for you. Yeah, you can hit. That should do you pretty good. Some people say you need 1.3 volts V-core. Some say that'll work. So wherever you have thermal headroom for, probably 1.3. That should be a decent overclock. My advice would be start at 1.3. Run Prime 95. Check your thermals. Yeah, 4 gigahertz on a 6-core CPU is like not really pushing it. People hit 4.2 with ease on it, so like 4 is a good start, but if you want to go lower, that's fine. Just look up what the correct voltage is. for the clock speed that you want to run. Anyways, I'm probably gonna wrap up here soon, unless anyone wants to see anything specific in terms of plane design. Yeah. Have a good day. Uh, so yeah, I'm gonna wrap things up here. Have a good day, everyone.